Hi, I'm Paul from Skip the Rules. Welcome to Hull Breach and its latest evolution in Defiance of Dictators. This expansion shines a light on the Colonials, who've moved to the fringes of the galaxy to carve out a life and escape the endless greed of the corporations, as well as the power-hungry IDF. Those of you who know and love Hull Breach will find a game that, at its heart, is very much the same. But what has been added evolves the game more towards a true tabletop simulation of space warfare and intrigue. Hull Breach can still be purchased as separate decks that represent a playable force for each of the factions. In Defiance of Dictators will give you a new all-in version of the game that ships with a full paper rulebook, 4 decks, each representing one of the various factions, all the volley dice you'll need to blow up ships and troops alike, and a multitude of tokens that can be used to track wounds, economy, and a myriad of other abilities. In Defiance of Dictators also ships with a new fiction supplement that moves the story on considerably from where it left off in Loyalty and Vigilance.
The game itself begins and ends with this: your deck, your fleet, your weapon. We're going to start by digging through it and looking for the station. The station is your headquarters in this region of space. You must reinforce and expand your station as your power and influence grow. Your station begins with a number of modules attached to it. The number is indicated on the card. These allow you to customize and specialize your base of operations to best fit whatever cunning strategy you can devise. The station also provides you with the resources and currency of this region of space. These will be used to forge your fighting force. These are tracked with your stockpile cards and counters. Your deck or shipyard contains all the various weapons you need to wage war or to simply defend yourself from other warring factions. The mainstay of your defences will be ships. You'll build these throughout the game by spending your hard-earned currency and resources. For your fighting force, you can build anything from nippy fighters to hulking capital ships. But, as Napoleon found out the hard way, your army is only as good as its supply lines. So you'll have to build transports, which act as carriers for your fighters and drones to swarm the enemy, and freighters to keep your supply lines open and your coffers filled. The ships you employ may be armed to the teeth, but that does not mean they are safe from infiltration and possible capture. Marines are the foot troops of your army and can be used to board and potentially take over enemy ships. Alternatively, they can be used as a defense against opponents who've taken a bit of a liking to your shiny new battleship. What sci-fi romp would be complete without some awesome new tech to research and wreak havoc with? Breakthroughs represent a way of upgrading your whole force in one go by introducing a new piece of technology. The final trick up the sleeve of your neatly cut Admiral's uniform is tactic and event cards. These represent some inspired feat of bravery by your troops, or perhaps an uncanny turn of good luck that can change the outcome of a battle or action. Each deck you acquire for Hull Breach is its own army. It's been designed with the intention that you can play a full, well-balanced game straight out of the box. Although Hull Breach is technically not a collectible card game, you are encouraged to mix and match the cards from your decks. By doing this, you can personalize and add character to your game and find a playstyle that suits you. Although Hull Breach was originally developed as a head-to-head 2-player game, In Defiance of Dictators introduces a range of mechanics which make it feel much more at home in multiplayer games as well. We normally play with between 3 and 4 players. However, so long as each person has got their deck, there is no limit to the number of protagonists you can have. Today I've recruited Omar to test his skills and sci-fi quoting prowess against me.
Each turn of the game is split into 3 phases. Logistics, where you acquire the resources needed to expand your army. Manufacturing, where you build the ships needed to defend you. And engagement, where you get to shoot your hard-earned space guns at your opponent. Fire!
The engagement phase encompasses the swirling melee of interstellar war. Each ship has their own initiative and turn in the battle, so the combat ebbs and flows as each player commands their ships and issues orders. Most of those orders will involve firing weapons using the volley dice.
The attacker's objective is to destroy the enemy station, but in order to do so it must get through the defending ships and modules which protect it.
shooting ships down is not the only aim to combat. If you effectively use the Marines that are stationed on your ships, you can attack enemy ships from the inside. If you successfully kill the Marines on the ship you're boarding, you can capture it and then add it to your fleet.
Ship fighters and drones all have special rules and traits that, if employed correctly, can swing the tide of a battle or even game. But you take the best ship in the galaxy and give it some bad orders and you might find yourself floating home.
As soon as your station is destroyed, your game's over and you are out. Hull breach is about, however, a lot more than throwing ship cards at your enemies and rolling some dice. Setting your forces and the logistics of your space fleet can mean that decisions outside of combat are actually even more important than which ships you choose to shoot at. Sending a freighter on a mission at a crucial time to get just enough resources to build that all-important battleship, or developing a breakthrough which gives your forces that much-needed boost at a key time, can mean the difference between humiliating defeat and glorious victory. Combat is of course no longer the only endgame in Hull breach. In Defiance of Dictators introduces 2 new victory conditions which turn this into a true space card game 4X. An economic win can be achieved by banking enough resources and currency before your opponents manage to destroy your planet-sized piggy bank. A diplomatic victory can be achieved by using your freighters to accrue diplomacy points by sending them on trading missions.
Special victory conditions aside, Hull breach is at its heart a combat game, and whilst diplomacy and trade may add extra flavour to the game, it'll never make you feel quite as warm and fuzzy inside as conflagrating your enemies.
Hull breach in Defiance of Dictators is a great rounding off of an already engaging and high-energy space card game. Their Kickstarter is now live, so get over there and pledge in order to get your hands on one of the first box sets. Then go blow up your mates. Their space stations, I mean. Honest. Keep an eye out in the near future as well, as we'll be bringing you a full rules video where we'll go into the full intricacies of how to play every rule from Hull breach.